Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, weebs and normal people, whatever you may be, I would like to appreciate all of you for taking the time out of your day to gather around today as we give our condolences and pay our respects to someone dear to us that we have unfortunately lost. Someone that made some people laugh, had good times with his friends, and most importantly, had a bright future ahead of him before he met his terrible end. We are, of course, talking about Anime's YouTube career. Why must the good die young? Please, I must know. What did he do to deserve this unfortunate fate? Well, he unfortunately had the inconceivable idea of messing with the Evangelion franchise. Oh my god, he is alive! That's right, bitches, and I don't regret a damn thing. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the channel. How have you all been? I see you're all doing great. Now let me ruin it for you, because today I'm going to give my thoughts on the whole Evangelion franchise and go into why I think the Evangelion Rewrite movies were better than Neon Genesis. Go watch the series if you haven't done so. I will be getting into spoilers in this video, so you know, just be careful. Okay, let me mention this first, alright? I am 1000% completely aware that Evangelion was a manga series that was made to completely unscrew the bolt out of your head. Alright, I know that this series is meant to be confusing and weird. That is literally Evangelion's sole purpose for existing. But sometimes, being too confusing, weird, or mind-screwy can be a straight-up detriment to a series. But we'll get to that point later on in this video. Let's start from the beginning. Both stories are the exact same start. Literally the exact same. Evangelion 1.1 is literally Neon Genesis' first 5 or so episodes, just with better visuals. And I don't have many complaints about the start of the series, except for maybe the fact that I wasn't really all that drawn in until like maybe around the 3rd episode or so. One major difference that I did find, however, is that the movie sped things up, which is honestly one of the most satisfying things this franchise has done. Speaking of which, let's talk about my first problem with the original show, which was the pacing. Now, you can argue that the slow pacing the show helps build a certain level of eeriness and adds a bit to that ambient suspense felt throughout, and in some parts of the show, yes, that is a completely valid argument, and I applaud the anime for doing it. But sometimes you would find scenes like this, and you can't help but feel like you've just been scammed. It's one thing to pad time so that the episode doesn't come out too short, but Gainax didn't even try to cover it up here. In what was supposed to be a super important decision in the show, they had Misato and Shinji just stare at each other for a good, I kid you not, 50 seconds. I counted it. Jeez, and I thought you couldn't get any slower with One Piece. And Evangelion is only 26 episodes long. Alright, but let's go back to what Evangelion does best and is known for. Brain blending. Neon Genesis is held at a very high regard when talking about its mystery element. It's that kind of storytelling where you might find one answer to a question at the expense of finding 50 different questions hiding behind it. What happened during the second impact? What chain of events would cause a third impact? What are Ikari's true intentions? And a ton more questions that show up as the show gets more mysterious as it progresses. This is the essence that I feel like a lot of people praise Neon Genesis for, that ultimately gives this series its identity. And what I love so much about the Rewrite movies is that it keeps this essence from the original show, and in my opinion does a much better job of fleshing it out by actually showing development and progress to the story. This is reflected on characters like Shinji, for example, where he literally went from being the least developed protagonist in the anime space in Neon Genesis to at least having some kind of purpose and resolve by the end of the Rewrite movies, even if that resolve in the end wasn't much. At least we didn't have to hear Shinji ask himself if he was afraid 50,000 times in the span of 20 minutes. Asuka is another character that was benefited by the Rewrite movies, in my opinion, but she is a character that I want to make a separate video on in the future. I do have some things to say about her, so stay tuned for that. Overall, the Rewrite movies just did a great job of creating and developing a story that could be much better comprehended by the audience, while also keeping that element of mystery that the original series went for. But this all becomes so much more apparent when we start talking about the endings of these two paths. Let's get into what I believe to be probably my hottest take of this video, maybe even my whole channel. I'm going to get roasted for this, most definitely, I already know. But I believe that the ending of the Neon Genesis movie is probably the worst ending I have ever seen in anime as of the release of this video. I have never felt so unsatisfied by an ending so much like how Neon Genesis' ending made me feel. And I'm not saying that the entire entire movie was bad, right? I think the first half of the movie was just fine. It's just that the ending and everything leading up to the ending was just all over the place for me. It just didn't compute in my little walnut of a brain. I don't know if I missed something that explains everything, but in my eyes, nothing in that ending made any sense to me. I was incapable of connecting a single dot together. Like, from what I understand, everyone in the world dies as a result of the third impact or something like that, except for Shinji and Asuka. But then he starts choking her out for some reason, and then he stops. Like, what is going on? And then Asuka looks at him, the screen cuts, and that's it. Like, what? What the f happened? What are they going to do? It just feels so incomplete on every level. It's like if you were reading a book where the first 30 pages were filled in, but every other page after that is completely blank, cutting off the story entirely. Like, what am I supposed to do? Write the story myself from there on? This isn't the Diary of a Wimpy Kid do-it-yourself book. I want to at least be given a hint as to what they do next. Do they just live out the rest of their lives alone and let the population go extinct? Is this like a new Adam and Eve kind of thing where they repopulate the earth? Do they kill each other? Do they eat each other out? Like, I'm so bamboozled. I don't understand how I'm supposed to take this story. This ending was genuinely something that pissed me off. I'm so glad that we got something much better in the rewrite. An ending where we actually got to see how the characters developed. An ending where many things were answered, and an ending that kept the original mysterious feel that Neon Genesis had, but made things much more satisfying, where you could at least see an actual conclusion where you could put down the story and say, yep, this story has definitely finished. I honestly hope that there's some people out there that actually agree with me with this, because what I see in the near future in the comment section might be nuclear. No extinguisher or hose will be able to deal with the flames down there. I'm certain of that. I'm just glad that I was able to at least finish this series with something that I can actually be at peace with. And it's not like I think all of Neon Genesis was bad. Don't get it twisted. I enjoyed watching most of Neon Genesis. The story up until the last 2 episodes and second half of the movie were just fine. I was intrigued up until that point. Not to mention Misato, who I consider to be in my top 30 characters in anime, both in Neon Genesis and in the rewrites. But the nonsensical nature of the ending of the original series is the only thing I can think about when talking about this franchise. And it's a shame that for me, it overshadows so many good things in this series, and luckily, in my honest opinion, the rewrites did a great job taking the franchise out of that shadow and bringing it into the light where it should be. And to that I say, thank you 1.0, thank you 2.0, 3.0 was kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really a fan of that one, to be honest. And thank you 3.0 plus 1.0, 4.0, for saving the franchise for me, because had it not been for you, then my experience with Evangelion would have been tainted forever. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing. We recently hit 500 subs, and I know it's not much, but hey, we are slowly growing, and it could only get better from here, I imagine. But in order to keep going, we need those subs to keep flowing, so make sure to subscribe. Most of the people who watch my videos aren't subbed, so let's try to fix that. Like the video if you want to see more videos like this, and tell me what you think about Evangelion as a whole in the comments below. Please be nice. I know I said a lot of mean things, but please, just bear with me. This is my opinion, and I don't want to see a war down there, so please, just be nice. And as always, make sure to check out my Mal account in the description if you have any sort of video that you would like to suggest to me. It has been a pleasure talking to you guys again. Peace out, you betas.